Hi everyone, you are welcome to my channel, and today I'll be showing you how you can test a project that was written in Hardhat to Foundry. I mean, if a project is already tested in Hardhat, but you are more comfortable with Foundry, how you can simply integrate Foundry into the project. This is very helpful for security researchers. Let's say you want to audit a code base that was tested with Hardhat, but you are more comfortable with Foundry. For example, let me show you around with this code base. So this is a very simple code base. As you can see, it was written usual solidity and tested with Hardhat. But if you notice the setup, this is the proper Hardhat setup. It was tested with Hardhat, but now this is a dilemma that happens if you are to maybe audit this code base, or you are a new smart contract engineer who has to work on the code base, or you simply want to test the contract and you think maybe Hardhat will not be enough for you to test extensively well, or you simply prefer to just do what you're comfortable with, which is Foundry. I, as a person, am a Foundry supporter. I love using Foundry for my testing. So most times, if the code base is not too large, I'll just have to use Foundry. And this is another important reason you should learn how to run this integration. There are sometimes that other projects might not be working on your laptop or your machine for one reason or another. I had the experience not quite long ago, and that is why it's just good to know if one is not working, how you can simply use it with the Foundry you're familiar with and test your contracts, write up POCs, or simply do anything you want to do. To do that, Hardhat, the Nomic Foundation team wrote this in their documentation, and you'll find it helpful. And that is simply how you can integrate Foundry with your Hardhat project. Let's look around. So the first thing you have to do is to initialize your repository, because Foundry is very sensitive to JIT issues. So go back to our contract now and run JIT init. So you can simply come here and say JIT init. This is a very good initialization of whatever is going on. Then there is an important thing to do. We have to install the Hardhat Foundry integration. So you can simply come to your terminal and say npm install savedev nomic foundation slash Hardhat Foundry. This will install what you want to do. Give it a couple of minutes. The next step is to configure your Hardhat by going to Hardhat config.js and imputing this. If you are using JavaScript, convert it to TypeScript here if you are using TS. So this works perfectly for, in some cases or in some code base I've read, they will not put this in your Hardhat config, especially if they are using Hardhat config.cjs. So you have to always keep it in mind to put this require statement of Hardhat Foundry in your config.js. This will configure your Hardhat to synchronize with Foundry and run Foundry tests successfully. Right now, we are trying to install the Nomic Foundation Hardhat Foundry. This will kind of take some time, but when it's done, we can do what we want to do. Now that our installation is successful, let's try to build it with Forge by saying forge build. As you can see, we successfully compiled with forge command. So let's come to this test and rewrite lock.c.so. Okay, we can simply ask Copilot to run this basic task for us. When you want to save time, sometimes instead of writing some tests yourself, you can simply ask Copilot to do it for you. Just don't be over dependent on it. Okay, you can simply copy and paste things. So let's try to run the test. So once you run this command, you have to install forge-std. So you simply say forge install forge-std. Why is this the case? This is where the cheat code is located. If you check this repository, you'll see that this is the direction of the URL. So, and that's the same thing we are implementing in our code base. So you have to install forge-std, then you can run your forge test, write your Foundry test, write your test as you would have written it in Foundry, despite the fact that you're in Hardhat. I hope you learned from this. Do well to give a comment, and I'll see you in the next. Thank you.